Welcome to another episode of Totally Medieval. This is where we're going to teach you a little bit more about how to play. Okay, so this is my family. This is Ethan, Stratton, Anne, and our technical assistant is Abby.
Hello.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to play Totally Medieval from the very beginning stage. So there's different advancements that you can play as you get into the game. There's everything including weather that will help you or hurt you while playing the game. But we're gonna go without the weather for this game alone. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to set out your Viking or knight cards, put them to the right of your center spot in front of you. So the Vikings are all going there, knights are on this side. We're actually playing a 4-player game. Basically means we have 2 mats that are connected, so we can attack each of our opponents.
Although, even though, let's say though they're both knights and we're both Vikings, that doesn't mean that we're allies. Mm-hmm. We're still enemies.
Correct. Now, the cards that we have in front of us, these ones are multiplication dice. These are for battles. Stratton is going to be using multiplication, but Annie's going to be the one that's holding up the cards for Stratton. Same thing with Stratton, he's going to be holding addition dice for Annie. Both Ethan and I are doing algebra because it's the highest level, so we're going to be holding up each other's for them. Now, what you want to do is you want to grab your nation cards, and inside you'll find one specific card, which is your homeland.
For Vikings, it's the Vikings fortress. For knights,
it's the castle on the rock. You want to show the fortress?
And for Vikings, can I see what it looks like?
Okay.
It's a little hard to
Nice.
see them.
Yep. So go ahead and put it onto your land in front of you. Now, you want to separate. Now I told you in the, let me see where the right deck of cards is. Okay. In this box right here, you're going to find all your weather cards and all your land cards. Put your weather cards aside. We'll teach you that later. Right now, grab all your land cards. They're cards that look like these. Now these are all going to be placed upside down so you don't see what's in there, because some of them might help you, some might hurt you, and you don't know until you land on them. And we'll explain more as we go. So I'm going to place these randomly out. And then I'm going to place these ones over here randomly as well. So no one knows where they're going to land.
Oh, and also, before you start the game, another one to notice is at the bottom of each mat on each side, there's a set of numbers between 1 and 20. And you have certain ways to fix it. We're just going to be using the actual figures, which you can't really see it from here, but yeah.
You can use anything to mark with their card harvest points. These are basically, when you move, you're going to use up a harvest point. And you can find harvest points as you go through the game, and we'll explain that as we get into the game.
Also, at the beginning of the game, you have to place them on 10, unless you have
just place on 10. Okay, so now grab 5 cards off the top of your hand.
3.
Sorry, 3 cards off the top of your hand.
And this is why I am glad that he is not the sole creator of this game.
Yes, this was actually the brainchild of Ethan. I'm the one that developed it into an actual game. Okay, so out of your 3 cards that you have, you're going to have different cards that are going to help you. Some are going to be people. Some of them are going to be what we call rooks, like in chess. If they're rooks, they're going to be either for the Vikings, it's the Viking ship, or for the knights, it's going to be the siege tower. Now, you don't actually play them on the game as you play. We'll explain as we go when you actually play them. The Viking ships are only going to be used if you're attacking on land or from the water, and the rooks are only going to be used when you're attacking your opponent's homeland.
And about the Viking ship, it's not when you're attacking from it, but when you're attacking the lands. Also,
if you're attacking a coastal land, which are marked in your map on your rule sheet.
You can tell they're coastal because on the part, at least on certain parts of the parts that are coastal, are darkened compared to the other parts. So you'll notice that if you look at the actual spot.
The easiest way to find it is to go to your rule sheet, and you'll see exactly which ones are coastal and which ones are not, because they're actually marked on your rule sheet. Okay, so to start off, each player, we're going to go with the youngest, which would be Annie, gets to play one of their 3 cards on their homeland, and then they're allowed to move them twice per turn. Now, they don't have to move them twice, but they can. Each time they move, of course, they lose a harvest point. So Annie, let's see what you have. In case you have 3 harvests. Actually, I don't think you shuffled this well enough. Let me shuffle this for you.
I've got a shuffle.
Yeah, it does help, especially if you have that. Okay, so go ahead and grab 3 cards off the top. Okay, so the first thing she's going to do is let's play one of these. She's going to play the Knights Templar. She's going to place it in her homeland. Annie, would you like to move forward to one of these lands? Okay, which one would you like to move to? No.
Okay, so whenever you're moving, there will be a land. It might be uncovered, but it might not. If it's showing the castle, then what you want to do is when you land on it, you want to flip it over.
Yep, so she just landed on this land, so we're going to flip this one over. This one's the desert. It says, once lose 2 days of harvest. So, she moved once, so she would have lost 1 harvest. But because she landed in the desert, she loses 2 more harvest points. So that could be detrimental, especially if you get to 0, you can't move. So,
then you're basically defenseless. No, well, technically,
not defenseless.
It's defense only.
Yeah, you can only defend.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's Stratton's turn. Oh, actually, Annie, would you like to move 1 more space or stay right there?
I want to move 1 more space.
Okay, you can move to this spot, or this spot. Which one would you like? Okay, she wants to get as far as possible. And she's in the forest. This one's called the Wandering Forest. Due to hunting, gain 1 harvest per turn. So as long as her person stays in that land, she'll always claim 1 harvest per turn.
So she lands there.
So she moved. Stop, please. So she lost 1 harvest for moving to that spot. She also gained 1 for landing in that spot. Okay, now she moved her 2 times. Now it's Stratton's turn. So Annie, grab enough cards. You have 3 in your hand. Stratton, it's your turn.
I place down the Viking Berserker.
Uh-huh.
And I will move these. No, I'll move him to right here.
Okay. Ooh. This one is called the Cliffs of Insanity. Each round, your weakest attacker is discarded. He only has 1 attacker, so guess what? That one's discarded. The discard is to the left of your homeland.
I like that.
It's okay. It happens. You never know until you actually land on the land which ones you're going to land. So Ethan, it's all yours.
Okay, I have played this game multiple times, and I have beaten him, by the way.
Ethan, we're not asking you for the boast. We're asking for information.
Anyway, so I will play the Jod Hilder. I don't know how to pronounce that, sadly. But yeah, I play her there.
It's basically like the bishop for the Vikings.
Queen.
Oh, sorry, the queen. Sorry.
And because of this card, it doesn't allow me to move her at all from this land. But she can still attack. So anyway, I end my turn.
Yeah, so both queens can only stay in their homeland. They're not actually able to move forward because they're the defender. If the king goes off and everyone else goes off, there's at least somebody in the homeland to defend it. So that's a great one to play. I, on the other hand, I'm going to play a Knights Templar, and I'm going to move forward to this spot right here, which is Bountiful Hills. Gain 1 day of harvest per turn. Oh, and actually we forgot. Ethan, or Stratton, because you moved forward 1, you also lost 1 harvest point. So you're down to 9. Okay, now I would have lost 1, but because I landed in Bountiful Hills, which gains me 1 day of harvest per turn, I also increase 1 harvest as well. Now, if I can stay here, or I can move forward, and I think I'm going to move forward. I'm going to move forward here. This is the Mountain Monastery. All visitors are healed 1 per turn. Once per turn. So this is the land. Let me show you this. The Mountain Monastery. If you become ill, and there's different ways of becoming ill, there are 3 ways to being healed. 1 is to move with your bishop, which is either the Gothi for the Vikings, or the bishop for the knights, you can find the Mountain Monastery, which is one of the lands in your battlefield, or you can return to your homeland and that will also heal you. So there's 3 ways of healing. Now, at the same time, there are types of illnesses that you cannot heal. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so I've moved my 2 spots. Annie, it's now your turn. Okay. So look at your cards. Now, what you want to do is you always want to plan ahead how you're going to move the next turn, so you don't have to wait. So let's play another one of your Templars in your homeland. If you want to move here, you don't lose anymore because this one only says, remember the desert only says once, which means once per the game, lose 2 days of harvest. So you can move through there freely, or do you want to go see what that one is? Curiosity. Let's see if it killed the cat. Bountiful Hills, gain 1 day of harvest per turn. So she would have lost 1, and then she would have gained 1. Would you like to move again, or would you like to stay there?
Where can I move?
You can move to this one or this one. And also remember that you have the Wandering Forest, so you also gain another harvest as well. Well, one thing you could do is if you land here, you'll be reinforcing that area in case Stratton comes forward to attack you. Okay. That is it? Okay, Stratton, all yours.
So, I will be placing down another Viking Berserker. Why do you only have 1 card in your hand? Supposed to draw at the end of your turn.
Yeah, always remember to draw at the end of the turn. Wait, just wait till the end of the turn now. Okay, so the Berserker, is he going to move forward?
Yes, he will.
Is he going to Cliff Insanity?
Nope.
No.
He's going to the unknown.
Please no.
Okay, to the unknown.
And he got Mountain Monastery.
There we go.
Wow.
So at some point he can be healed.
Mountain's over. All visitors are headed. 1 per round. What? Now can I go again?
Yep, you can move forward again. You can either attack them or move over here. It's your choice. Which one would you like to do?
Move over.
Okay, you want to see what's there? This one, Volcanic Mountains. Once, this army may not move for 2 turns.
What?
It's now stuck there for 2 turns.
No. I just lost 2,
Okay.
right? 1 and 2.
Yes, you would have lost 2 more. 2 additional ones. So you're down to 7. Ethan, all yours.
Okay. So, I will play Eric the Red, move him forward up here. I knew I was going to land there, and I didn't know I was going to land there. I knew that I had a big chance of landing there, so I moved there, lost my 3, and I end my turn. Just kidding.
Oh, he went to the Fire Swamp. The Fire Swamp. Each round, your strongest attacker falls ill. Who's your strongest attacker? I'm guessing he is. So he moved twice, so he can't do anything. Now, if he stays ill for 3 turns, he dies. So you want to either get to the Mountain Monastery, or back to his homeland, or find a Gothi to come travel with him. Now, as the king, so Eric the Red or Richard the Lionhearted, they can actually be the 5th person in your army. You can actually have up to 4 people normally in the army. And then if you have a king, you can actually have a 5th person in that. Okay, so you've moved your spot, so now it's my turn, right? So I'm going to play another Knights Templar who will move forward into Bountiful Hills. So I would have lost 1 harvest and then gained 1 harvest. And then move again, which I would have lost another harvest. So I'm strengthening up this area. Now, Ethan most likely is going to try to attack my homeland coming down through there. So I need to watch out for that very soon. Okay, Annie, it's all yours.
Oh, and by the way, as you can see, the reason we have 2 mats set up next to each other is not just so we can play 4-player. The reason we have 2 set up is because whenever another mat group gets a card here, they're able to move across.
Yep. So you can actually interchange between mats as well.
Rainbows.
Can you just stop that, please? Okay, so you place your You're Knights Templar, and you're gonna move forward. Brother wanna move there. You would have lost a harvest and then gain 1 harvest for being there. And then, are you gonna join your group?
Yes.
Okay. So now she has 3 Knights Templar, all in the same area. Poor Stratton still only has 1, but he can't move. Oh, you're in the Wandering Forest, right? And you gained another harvest, yes. Well, you would have lost 1 and then gained 1, so you're still at 9. Okay, Stratton, all yours.
I will place down a dragon ship.
Nope. It goes inside.
Yep. So whenever you place a dragon ship for the Vikings or a siege tower, you keep them off the table until you're going to use them. So again.
Can I go again?
Yes. Oh no, you can't play it again. You could just move people forward.
And
this one's stuck, so you can't move anything.
Okay. My turn.
Your turn.
Yep. I move twice, take over his land, and lose to that. So yeah.
Now in the game, that was really dumb of me. I should have replaced that.
I was hoping you would do that.
Yep.
I love it when older people overlook the small things that could make them lose.
And I like when kids go to bed early because they are smart Alex and
Yeah.
don't know when to keep their mouth shut. Okay,
Well,
now Annie, for your turn, because there's still 3 of you left, I would suggest something. Play your card down, whichever card you want, and then hit 1, 2, and take over his homeland. No, not with them.
Move
With
back.
these.
Oh snap.
So you hit the monastery, hit his land,
How much does that hurt me?
you're gone. Same as me. So at this point, it would then be Ethan versus Annie. But because we're doing this as a sample, we're going to end the game here and show you more in the next video. So thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, that was a really quick one. Note to self, always keep someone in your homeland to at least protect to some extent.
Wait, I have this.
You did, but you didn't have a person in your homeland to defend. Yes.
Also, I wouldn't have worked.
So, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Take care.
The
Bye.
power of speed running.